Hello, this is Meredith with the Office of Leadership and Engagement. This training is over the basics of recruitment at Northern Arizona University. We will cover popular recruitment methods, tabling strategies, elevator pitches, and retention tactics in this presentation. First, we'll go over some brief definitions. So recruitment is when you're generating new members in order to keep your organization active, especially as you near your own graduation. Involvement is anything that your organization does. This includes building relationships, having mentorships, participating in events or activities, and any way that you're creating meaning or value for your members. Finally, retention is encouraging students to return to your next meeting or event. It's usually done when you're effectively meeting student needs and may help if you're improving officer training procedures. We're going to be looking at what are students looking for in organizations, how to best advertise your clubs, and which methods are effective for use. Then we'll start going into the 5 key factors of involvement, which will help you advertise to new members and evaluate your current membership to promote sustained interest within your organization. And I'll sprinkle in some tips about retention along the way. It's important to remember that these facets are integral to each other. So, for example, if your current members don't feel interested or invested in the club, they're less likely to stay. If they're not interested in the club, why would new members join? And then if you don't have any members retained, you don't have anyone recruiting next year. So each of these steps supports the other, especially when we're creating strong and lasting organizations. Next, we'll go into the direction of recruitment. Feel free to pause this video to answer these questions for your specific organization. You're going to want to ask yourself the following. Why do you want new members? How are you communicating your mission, your vision, or your goals? How will you involve or onboard new members? What are the benefits of joining? Are there expectations? Are there responsibilities? What are the annual goals or timeline of your organization? If you don't know the answers to these questions, this is highlighting why retention starts with recruitment. You'll need to develop these within your organization in order for recruiters to be able to answer these questions. And if your recruiters are able to answer these questions, they're able to present the image of a club that is organized and welcoming. And being organized can help foster trust in the leadership team. Keep in mind that if you're asking for time and money from dues, these are the 2 most valuable assets a person has. Therefore, you need to make the investment of time and money worthwhile. So now that we have a better understanding of the goals of our organization's recruitment efforts, it's important to take a step back and ask ourselves, why did I join my organization? To better understand others, we should first start by understanding ourselves. Your reasons for joining your organization may be similar to the students that you wish to advertise to. However, also keep in mind that there may be values of your organizations that others could enjoy or be interested in more than you were. As we go through this training, feel free to add to this list about yourself or the selling points of your organization as new ideas come to you. There are so many reasons that students want to join clubs, organizations, and chapters at Northern Arizona University. They may desire to get involved and want to meet new people. They may want the potential for leadership positions or share a belief in a certain cause. They may want to develop their resume, foster skills, or continue previous hobbies or experiences that they've had. They may want to just have fun, or be affiliated with a major or department, or participate in the reputation of a club. They may desire the opportunity to travel to national conferences, participate in networking, or apply for special scholarships unique to your club or organization. There are so many reasons: social, academic, cultural, professional, personal growth, service, etc., why someone might join a club. It's important that you identify the values and identity of your organization particularly to best advertise to interested students. I told you that I'd be sprinkling in retention throughout this PowerPoint. So recruitment is wasted time, energy, and money if you don't retain members. However, research is showing that belonging is the top factor impacting retention for both student organizations and student enrollment broadly. Therefore, creating community can encourage students to complete their degree and stay in your organization, and also vice versa. We're going to slow down and go into a little bit more detail of each letter in the acronym GRAPE. This can be used for both retention and recruitment. Throughout this section, I have separated advice on the left-hand side being recruitment focused, and on the right-hand side being organizational development / retention focused. The first factor of involvement is growth, which is having chances to increase skills and competency, and that support in building competence, experience, and confidence. New members might be wondering, what opportunities for growth is your club providing? And how can I become a leader? And on the side of retention, it's so important to stay organized, to allow for differences in opinion, and to get all members involved in the recruitment process. So that way, everybody is helping the growth of the organization, not just a recruitment officer. The next factor of involvement to consider is recognition. Members want to receive praise for a job well done and receive considerate feedback from other members of the organization. New or prospective members might ask, how does your organization recognize members' efforts throughout the year? And in what ways does the culture of your organization support members? On a more broad organizational approach, you may be considering this from a positive reputation angle. In order to develop a positive reputation, you're going to want to get involved with NAU, get involved in events, promo activities, co-sponsor with other organizations, and have well-known marketing materials like t-shirts or freebies for both members and non-members to see your club on campus. It's one thing to talk about creating a positive reputation on campus and to build a supportive organization. However, how do you actually do that? Well, recognition needs to be meaningful, frequent, and intentional to have a true impact on your members. There are 3 methods of recognition listed here, but it's recommended to mix and match them and not just use one. So the first one is acknowledgement and attention. Recognize people as important members of your group and focus on members as individuals, investing time and energy into this process. The second one is feedback. Share positive and constructive information with members about their performance. And finally, praise. Provide direct thank yous for the contributions of members. Thank you so much for showing up to every meeting. Without members like you, we wouldn't be as great of an organization as we are. The next 2 slides are just some examples of ways to recognize members. So this slide's some fun award ideas of candy bar recognition, leader or leader of the week, stirring things up award, and the starfish award. If your club is not as into awards, here are some more collaborative ideas. Creating a Spotify playlist for a member or for the club to add to meetings and or social hangouts. Do check-ins every time everyone gets together of what they're proud of that they've done recently. And finally, words of wisdom. Have everyone contribute a personal quote to be shared at an annual event, like an inauguration. The third involvement factor is achievement, which is supplying opportunities to solve problems, see results of hard work, hold meaningful responsibilities, and or see ideas become reality. This is important both to new members and old members. So prospective members might ask, what are the action plans of your group? Or how can I as a new member contribute to the goals or values of your organization? On a broad organizational approach, you should consider that it's important to thank both officers and individual members for how they support the group. Always evaluate your organization and your goals. Make sure those are up to date. Make sure everyone's on the same page about those. And then don't just empower officers, also empower members and delegate responsibilities. The next factor of involvement is participation. This is when you're presenting possibilities for planning, scheduling, and decision making. Members don't want to just be members, they want to be active participants. Some questions that may address this is, can everyone participate in programs and events? Are you inclusive? And it's important that you're having opportunities for new members to get involved right away after they show interest. Some ways to make sure you keep your participation thriving in your organization is keeping members in the loop, providing flexible participation options, encouraging all members to help with things like recruitment and other activities, creating a positive and welcoming environment. Yet again, know your members' names, and maybe even invite alumni back to visit the club. Last but not least, the final factor in involvement is enjoyment. While you should know what this means, it's when you're delivering moments of having fun, working as a team, and contributing to something important or worthwhile. Some recruitment questions that tackle this topic are: how easy is it to make friends or long-lasting connections in your organization? Where is the life in your organization? And how can non-officers be active? Some tips to make this happen is, of course, have fun. Enjoy your organization. Ensure that it's worth the time. Get to know members on personal levels. Structure meetings so it's comfortable for everyone. And be aware, respect, and understand cultural differences. Now that we've gone over the 5 factors of involvement and how they contribute to both recruitment and retention, it's time we actually go into the methods of recruitment. No matter which recruitment strategy you decide to use, it will always take time and effort to be effective. If you're more shy or have some social anxieties or aren't a people person, you may prefer indirect methods of recruitment. This includes things like having a social media presence, which you can do takeovers or create posts on other pages. It could be drafting departmental emails, or it could just be keeping your TrueBlue Connect profile and those events up to date. What is typically more fruitful than indirect is direct methods of recruitment, although only some members of your organization may be willing or comfortable doing this. Word of mouth is almost always understated as a recruitment effort. If your club is being mentioned by name in a class by a professor, or your faculty advisor is bringing it up in their one-on-one meetings, that's how you get more word out. Your reputation is getting out and all of that fun stuff. You may actually encourage all current members to bring a new member to the next meeting. You should participate in club fairs organized by our office, maybe tabling in or near the union, and just talk to people in your classes like, hey, I'm in this really cool club and you should join, it's super fun. Finally, I didn't want to not mention this in case you don't have a bank account or your club doesn't have any funding. But if you have food at your club meetings, that is an easy way to get college students at your meeting. Free food, free swag, free freebies. People who don't even know what your club is about might show up. Next, we're going to be going into tabling more specifically. So here are some photos of clubs, organizations, and chapters at NAU who have successfully tabled. And I want you to take some time to examine: what are the commonalities between these tables? What are the differences? What do you like at some tables? What do you not like? You'll see a wide variety of freebies, of ways they're advertising the organization, of interactive materials or photos, things like that at tables which can showcase the values of each organization. So the key categories you're going to want to consider when you're tabling are appearance, organization, and demeanor. And all 3 categories have things that you should do and things that you should not do when you're tabling. Regarding appearance, your table should be clean, you should have a visible tablecloth, and you should have flyers that you can hand out. You should be representing your group with club shirts or merchandise of some sort, and if possible, you should have freebies on the table. However, you shouldn't be on your phone, and you shouldn't be distracted with personal conversations. Both of those things will encourage people to not approach your table. Regarding organization, it's really helpful to have a tabling box or crate where you can keep all your materials in there no matter how far or close a tabling event is. It's really important to have a sign-up sheet so you're not losing any potential members who are interested. It can be physical, on the computer, a QR code, whatever works with your org. You could also plan to have 1 or 2 people in front of the table to try bringing people in. But you shouldn't really have more than 2 people because then it becomes a crowd and can also scare people away. Also keep in mind that When it's a really windy day, things might fall over. I know a lot of clubs during club fairs are looking for rocks to prop up their things. You may want to add rocks to your tabling box. Finally, with demeanor, you should be approachable and active. You should be actively encouraging people to come to you. However, don't be too aggressive. Don't ask yes or no questions. It's actually better to ask open-ended ones. And don't take rejection personally, since they may just not share the same interests as you. Some other things to consider is having activities at your table. This could include friendship bracelets, having some questions that people can come up and answer or tally, sharing fun facts either by your organization or NAU. How do you make your table the one that people want to stop at? That should be what you're asking when you're setting up for a tabling event. So you might be asking now, what do I do when they do come up to my table? Or if my club wants to have everyone help with recruitment, how do you teach them what to say or what to do? Well, everyone in your organization would need to develop an elevator pitch, which is brief and positive, and they'll have to be ready to expand beyond their elevator pitch if someone shows interest. There are 3 components of an elevator pitch: introduction, purpose, and closing. So you're going to answer who are you, how are you unique, and spark interest. Then you're going to want to know your audience. Explain why you're talking to them and what you might be able to offer them. Mention your goals and your skills. What are you pitching and why are you pitching it? Finally, with your closing, you're going to want to end really strong. And you'll want to either include a call to action, showing gratitude, or both. How can they get more information? What contact information can you provide? And finally, thank them for their time, even if it was only a minute. That's a minute that you took to advertise your club. Finally, I want to give y'all a little bit of push to make purposeful efforts to reach less commonly recruited populations. Some populations to consider include non-traditional students, students with families and children, working students that have a lot of time at a part-time or full-time job, commuter students, graduate students, students formerly in the military, first-generation students, students with accessibility concerns, and upperclassmen, since a lot of recruitment efforts are catered to freshmen. Here are some specific recruitment ideas. Could I use a communication channel dedicated to my population of interest, like the Family Hub or the NAU Go Transfer channel? Additionally, you should be forthcoming and transparent about what questions these populations may want to know answers to. Is family participation welcome? Put that in the event request when you're inviting people to come. Are meetings virtual or hybrid? Do new members understand the time commitment of your organization? And finally, in what ways are your meetings or events accessible to all students? Oh, there is a ramp nearby. Oh, we're going to have a sign language interpreter. Things like that. So thank you for your time. If you have any additional questions, please reach out to studentorgs@nau.edu to schedule a meeting with us. We'll be able to answer more specific questions or things that are more catering to your organization specifically.